Hello and welcome to Day Drinking with Ace, a podcast by the agency Ace Influencers. My name is Anastasia, I am the founder and CEO of Ace, and this is my weekly debrief where I spill the tea on everything that has happened in my week and at the agency. So, first things first, if you're wondering why I'm wearing a gym outfit while I have a drink in my hand, it is just because life is all about balance. And after I film this debrief, I actually have an event at KXU, which is a luxury gym here in London. And we are going to do some kind of running, high intensity drill workout. Something you need to know about me is that I have been so busy in the past weeks that I haven't set foot in the gym. I haven't even breathed near a gym. So I'm a little bit scared. I'm going there with Erica, and I feel like she's someone who's just very sportsy, and I'm a little bit scared. Even though I used to be a personal trainer in my past life, my healthy lifestyle has not really been very healthy in the past weeks. But I actually signed up to a new gym because I'm going to be working out with my friend from November, though, because we discovered that my next 2.5 weeks are way too busy. But it's all about trying. Anyhow, what I want to discuss this week is oh my God, I have so many crazy things that have happened, but let's start at one of the craziest ones. As you know, sometimes when it comes to brand payments, we really have to chase. We really have to chase brands, ask them if they can finally, just pay up. And one of the brands that I was chasing actually went bankrupt. Yeah, let me take a big sip after telling you this. My days. When a brand goes bankrupt, obviously they have creditors. And usually the first creditors are banks or people that have given them a loan, potential employees, and only at the bottom of the list, there's contractors. And influencers are, of course, contractors. So the likelihood of me ever seeing this money again is zero. Let's be realistic. It's zero. Ooh, I have a hair in my mouth. Anyhow, so obviously when it comes to creators, this is not something that they like. And it's difficult for us to explain them how businesses work. And it's not like this money can be retrieved or recovered. There's nothing you can do. You cannot go down a legal route. You cannot try and request it. You cannot really beg for it. It's just gone. The business is bankrupt. The business doesn't exist. And this money will never, ever, ever come back. And that is quite rare, I would say, that this happens. But it has happened already 2 or 3 times in the time that I've ran Ace. And it is always a very difficult situation to be in, because not only are we missing money as an agency, and this is obviously work you have done, services you haven't been paid for, but you also have to explain to your creator why they're not going to get paid. And as you can imagine, that doesn't make them very happy. So that was a tough one to explain. And usually when something like this happens, we try and, do something nice for our creators to soften the blow. But of course, it's not great, is it? And on top of that, I have another crazy story. When it comes to working with clients, you never know what you're going to get. So it's a mixed bag. Some personalities of clients are amazing and they're super easy to work with, and it's a wonderful working relationship. And sometimes you get clients that are actually out there to use and abuse you. And I have a great example of a client that is just not giving. So we started working with this client a few months ago. And in the beginning, they promised us the world. They said, oh, we really want to build up our spend to millions per month. And obviously, I got very excited. I thought this client has the potential of becoming my biggest client ever. And I was over the moon thinking about that possibility because it would mean such growth for Ace. And I was really very dedicated to really doing my best for this client. And we have done really good work for this client. To explain it a little bit further, this client, they wanted creators in the UK, US, and Australia to promote their brand, which is a fashion brand. And they were very, very, very specific on the type of creator, their analytics. They were super strict, but at the same time, super stingy. So if their budget for a creator was 2,000 and the creator wanted 2001, they would literally instantly say no. They would not give creators any freedom when it comes to their content. They would absolutely not budge on the budget ever. And the rates that they were offering creators were significantly lower than their usual rates. So we had, for example, creators whose usual rates would be 15,000. Those are bigger creators. And the brand was willing to offer 2. Obviously, as you can imagine, this was too far off. So in all honesty, we had quite a hard time finding them enough creators. Not because we were not providing them enough. We have provided them a list with over 4,000 creators. And in the end, they've picked about 10. And mind you, all of these creators were brilliant, amazing, great analytics, great engagement. But the brand was just being very difficult and they wouldn't budge and realistically were not the nicest when it came to working with creators. And then they said to us, oh, actually, maybe you guys are not so good at negotiating, which we're an agency. Surely we can negotiate with creators. That's literally what we do. We negotiate with brands and creators. It's our expertise. But fine, let's, for the sake of argument, say that they had a point. They didn't, but let's say. And they said, we will take over the negotiations. And we, just for the sake of an experiment, let them do that. Well, do you think we signed more deals? Absolutely not. Because it was never about the negotiation. It was about the fact that they were not working within the industry standards and not taking our advice, which is literally what they hired us for. And then this client also wanted to buy our branding services. And our branding services are specifically designed for brands like theirs that are doing okay, but don't have any recognition, don't have a strong digital brand. And you can notice that in the way that creators didn't really want to work with them, in the sense that, most people will even work with Skims or Nike for free because they like the brand so much. And this was a very unknown brand. So obviously creators didn't want to do things at a lower fee with an unknown or, not very cool brand. So we did offer them branding services and they said they wanted to scale to work with celebrities. And our branding services cost $25,000 and we create everything. So we do the website, we do the social media, we do the strategy, we prepare strategic partnerships. It's a lot of work. It is an expensive startup cost, but you literally get everything you need for a digital brand. And obviously for us, it's the work of multiple people. So it's a very industry appropriate price. So it might sound expensive, but actually it isn't, considering the cost for the agency as well. And he strung us along for many calls. We had like 3 calls, so many follow-up messages. And then he says, okay, I'll do it for 3,000. 3,000. So we say like 4,000 is our maintenance fee. Like if you do branding with us and you want to update it every month, we of course don't charge you 25,000 again. We charge you 4 per month. So that was even below our maintenance fee. So we offered him consulting for that fee. And he was like, no, I want the full branding. So he was already someone who would waste our time a lot. But here comes the kicker. Oh my God. I sent him our monthly invoice on Thursday because it was overdue. And I'm like, hi, don't forget, here's our agency fee invoice. And on Monday, even though he promised to reply on Friday, like just pay, he replies on Monday saying that he's very disappointed he got an invoice. And I was like, I am also very disappointed when I have to pay my rent, yet it's due. And so he said that he needs to review that and he needs to have a think about it. And I told him there's nothing to think about. You are working with an agency and payment is due. Pay up. It's in your contract. He was like, no, that's not in the contract. So I obviously sent him a screenshot of the contract because it is in the contract. During this entire conversation, I remained super professional. I was nothing but nice, but very to the point in a sense. You don't get to push us over just because you don't want to pay. And then in the middle of the conversation, he says, stop being so pressurizing. I don't like it. And I literally thought to myself, how is that pressurizing? You got a service. Now it's time to pay for it. Anyhow, so we're kind of going through that a little bit right now as well, which is disappointing, but it's also kind of interesting as an experience. And I'm curious to see how we will deal with it, because his team keeps asking us for more stuff, and we've obviously told them that we will not be working with them until they pay the fees that are due. And they've completely ignored that, but keep asking us questions. I've instructed my team to absolutely not do anything, because you know what? If you're disappointed by an invoice, we're disappointed that we worked for you. So yeah, that is a thing that happens. And this brings me to another thing that I wanted to talk about. Every Tuesday, I have a call with my business coach, Lauren, and she has shared a quote with me, which really made me think. And the quote goes, be as consistent as you want your money to be. And I think that in the beginning, when I was just starting as an entrepreneur, there was this whole idea that everything is about balance and you need to, have weekends. Even if you're an entrepreneur, you shouldn't work too hard. You shouldn't overwork yourself. And now I've come to a point where I realize that to achieve big results, and when you're in a growth stage, when you're really trying to build something, balance is not really a top priority, because realistically, if it was easy, everyone would do it. If you could have a weekend every week, if you could have a nice 9 to 5, how are you trying to build something bigger than an average person just working for a company then? And last week, I have worked till 3 a.m. Definitely twice. I think actually thrice. And this Saturday, I stayed at home because it was the only day that I had this week where I could actually stay at home. I didn't have an event. I didn't have any social commitments. So on Saturday, I made the decision to stay home and work. So I worked the entire day, and I worked, I think, up until about 2 in the morning. And Erica actually texted me. She was like, "Ooh, I see you have no plans on a Saturday," because I was like forwarding her some emails at like midnight. And yeah, I mean, could I have had plans? Yes. But I chose to be as consistent as I want my money to be. And a challenge that I am slightly facing in this is routine. I notice that I work way more at night, but obviously then I wake up a little bit later in the morning. So I usually wake up around 8:30, which is later than an average person, maybe even at 9, if I'm being proper. Woo! But it makes sense, right? Because if I go to bed at 3, granted I cannot wake up at 7. I physically can't. So it is interesting to see how a conventional workplace doesn't really allow for room of working when it's best for you and how your brain is wired. And that is something that I've been thinking about recently. And I think for me, I'm definitely someone who's a night owl. I like working at night. I like getting stuff done because I also like waking up in the morning with a clean slate. I don't like to let things build up. I want to wake up and have a semi-empty mailbox. I want to have everything prepared for the next day. So literally wake up, have a nice coffee, and then, get to go to work. I usually do my calls in the morning. So until 12 or maybe even 1, I take calls from home, and only then do I come into the office. And that's my routine. But yeah, I think that is something that I've been thinking about a lot, is that for us as a company, we're now in a huge push phase. We are working towards new goals, getting more brand focused deals. And it has definitely come with a lot more work. And I'm definitely working a little bit over my capacity. I'm trying to delegate more and I'm trying to find a balance. But I think this is going to take some time, maybe a few months. And then things will normalize. But I think that if there is a piece of advice that I could give, is don't succumb to this whole idea that you need to just hang out with your friends and relax and whatever. It is completely okay to sometimes go all in and dive into your goals. Because realistically, there is so little time in a day. And if you spend most of it just doing God knows what, how do you expect to get results? And I'm not saying don't socialize with your friends. I see my friends every week. And it's a very important part of my life. But I do think that sometimes sacrificing meaningless fun party or, I don't know, a dinner just to stay on track with your goals is a very good idea. Wake up a little bit earlier on a weekend and do your work before you go see your friends, or stay up a little bit later and get that stuff done that you've been thinking about doing, because while you are not doing it, someone else is, and someone else is getting ahead. And I think I need to take my own advice when it comes to fitness. And that's why I've signed up for a gym, and this is also part of my resolutions. I want to kind of get into a healthier routine again, because I've been going out a lot when it comes to events. Not like clubbing or anything, but I've had a lot of events, and with events, obviously, you're drinking, you're eating canapes, la la la. And I kind of want to go back to a more balanced, fitnessy routine. And that's why I made it easy for myself. AKA, I see my friend, one of my best friends, her name is Maya. I've known her since I'm 8. Every Monday and Tuesday, more or less. I definitely see her a lot. And oftentimes we meet after work and we go for a drink. So I said, why don't we just, go to the gym together? It's still very fun. And I get my healthy habits in. I get to spend time with my friend. Combine useful with fun. Great advice. Anyhow, on that motivational note, I'm going to end my debrief because this is what happened in my week. This week is going to be super exciting. I have an event at the Gherkin, which is like a really cool building with a cool restaurant in London. I have Dr. George event. I have, what else do I have? I have some kind of other thing. Oh yeah, I have a press day and a fashion show. And then, oh no, not a fashion show. That's the week after. I'm going golfing with Erica. We're going to Bar Italia because we're going out with my team again. And on Sunday, I'm having a poker night. So I cannot wait to tell you all about it in my next debrief. Cheers, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.
You look like you could use a drink.